I'm going to talk to you about 3 areas of your life that you're going to want to know about. It's going to determine whether or not your life is successful. There's 3 things that are taking place right now in this world in North America that are either going to allow you to get ahead or it's going to kill you. I'm going to talk to you about what they are. Hi, my name is Ross McLean. This is the McLean Chronicles. I want to try and bring you current information and simplify it a little bit so it helps you get your life ahead. Let me start with this. I want to introduce you to a guy by the name of Marc Andreessen. Okay, he is one of the juggernauts of tech investing, the original founder of Mosaic and Netscape, the browser company who went head-to-head with Microsoft, sold out for billions of dollars when he was young. He's run one of the biggest investment firms in the Valley. No one really understands or tears apart the economy or businesses better than Marc Andreessen. In fact, he speaks really fast. I'm thinking I almost need to slow down this video of his that we're going to play a little bit of. By the way, this video is from Impact Theory. It's a great podcast. You should watch it. It's a longer piece that he did. It's a couple of hours long. But we're going to talk to you about the 3 areas that are really going to impact your life: housing, education, and healthcare, and why those 3 are going to determine whether you have a successful life or not. Listen to some of this from Marc Andreessen.
There's both the money supply aspect of inflation and the government printing press and all that, and that's totally true. But what's actually happened inside that is actually, because of differences in technology and regulation, you actually have a really, I think, historically unprecedented difference in how different industries are actually inflating or deflating. 3 really big important sectors of the economy, which are healthcare, education, and housing, where the prices are skyrocketing. And by the way, everybody feels this, right? This is just like, okay, you want to go buy a starter home, or you want to get good healthcare, or you want to get your kid in a good school. The prices are going crazy. I mean, you see this in housing prices, of course. Another version of this is the higher education. A 4-year college degree at a private university now costs $400,000, and is on its way to $1 million, right?
Ooh, that's crazy.
Completely crazy. So the price of higher ed is skyrocketing. The price of higher education, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, is rising far faster than the rate of inflation. And same thing is true. And healthcare costs are rising faster than the rate of inflation, and housing prices are rising faster than the rate of inflation, right? And so the price of housing, education, and healthcare has skyrocketed. The prices of everything else is crashing. What explains that? Well, the prices for everything is crashing. Number one, they have rapid technological change, which is driving down prices because of productivity growth, and they're not regulated, right? Nobody in the government is price fixing music, right? Whereas housing, education, and healthcare are incredibly highly regulated and centrally controlled by the government, right? And have fixed supply dictated by the government, and they have very slow rate of technological adoption. Right? It's almost impossible to get new technology into the healthcare system, into the education system, or into housing, right? And so what we have actually in the economy is I call these the slow sectors versus the fast sectors. The sectors for which prices are skyrocketing because of slow technology change and too much government regulation, and the sectors where prices are crashing because of rapid technological advances and lack of government regulation. And when you chart these out, you can just extrapolate the lines. And so the where this is happening is, within like a decade, if the current trends continue, within a decade, a 4-year college degree is going to cost $1 million, right? And a flat screen TV that covers your entire wall is going to cost $100, right? And at some point, you might want to ask the question, isn't that backwards, right? Isn't what we all, it is where I get very emotional about this. Is okay, define the American dream, right? The American dream. And by the way, for that, you could probably substitute this, the dream in many other countries, but let's just say the American dream. The American dream. I want to buy a house for my family. I want to be able to send my kids to a great school, and then I want my family to be able to get great health care. Right? Those are the 3 higher order bits, and those are the things where we have our system is wired right now to drive the prices of those things to the moon. And if we don't get the technology change, our politics for the next 30 years are going to be so crazily vicious, right? Because we're all going to be fighting over this shrinking pie. And we're just gonna hate how we have to live.
Okay, so let's simplify what is inflation. Number one, it's a scam. It's a scam that's run against you, where the government is essentially stealing your money. It's taxation on you that you don't really know, and the government talks like it's just something that happens that they're not a part of. The fact is that all inflation is caused by the government and how they print money and how they make certain things scarce. This is the problem. You hear them talk about the inflation rate, saying, oh, inflation is coming down. No, it's not. The rate of inflation is coming down. Things are still inflating. In fact, as you listen to this when I'm speaking to you now, you've probably lost about 25% of everything in your savings in your retirement since COVID. That's how high inflation has been. And the government acts like they're not really involved with it. Part of what they do is they tell you what the rate is by looking at a basket of goods. And they're the ones who determine what the basket of goods is and what the weight of the basket of goods is they tend to exaggerate, in my opinion, the value of things that drop rapidly in prices, like big screen TVs over the last 10 years, they've come way down in price, right? It's not because of anything the government did. That's because of capitalism, free market, technology, and innovation as to why they came down. That's what Marc Andreessen is talking about here. Where the big issues are is where the government is involved, where they regulate things. This is in housing, education, and healthcare. Look at your typical house. What it costs to buy a house these days. Over $1 million. For what? Bunch of wood, bunch of plumbing, some electricity. They can build them for way cheaper. But the government regulates everything. They limit land supply. They make it difficult. They put on development charges. They regulate exactly how you're supposed to build the house, even though it maybe doesn't make any sense. And maybe there's new technologies where you can build houses a lot quicker and a lot faster. Look at Elon Musk. He's got this sort of IKEA house. Quick little picture of it here, where he shows he basically delivers it in a flat pack, pull it up, and there's your house. The only problem is it doesn't meet government regulations here in Canada, so you can't use that house. This is the problem when the government gets involved in regulation. New technologies can't get involved and the prices skyrocket. As Marc Andreessen talks about here, let's look at education. I mean, you've got librarians at some of these universities making $300,000 a year. Teachers making ridiculous and professors making a ridiculous amount of money, not in line with the product that they're delivering. As Marc says, the cost of a university education is going to close in on $1 million in a short period of time for looking for it. And let's look at healthcare. Healthcare is horrible. It's horribly expensive, and it's because you can't get the technology into the healthcare to lessen the prices. You know, in Canada, they have universal healthcare. That just means you don't see what the bill is for it. But what are they doing now? Rationed out. It's all being rationed out. You want to see a specialist? You're waiting a long time. You want to actually get that surgery scheduled? You're waiting a long time. You want to get that miracle drug that's going to do something for you? Sorry, it's not listed and covered by the health plan. That's the issue. You know, I have a friend of mine. He owns a health, let's call it a technology company, and he's got a new way of delivering this one service that will save hundreds of millions of dollars a year and lots of lives. Do you think he can get it into the healthcare system because of all the administrators and all the rules and all the regulations and all the ones who are already getting paid? I remember once I talked with the CFO of a big pharmaceutical company. He told me he had a miracle pill that would help people with a certain issue. He said, but guess what? OHIP doesn't want to list that pill. That's the Ontario Health Plan in Ontario, Canada. They won't list it, so you can't get it at a decent price. It's all the government regulations holding you back. So you better get aware of what the government is doing to remove regulations or open up these three areas of universities and education, housing, and healthcare, how they better open them up, or your life is never going to go anywhere. The North American dream of a home, a great family, and good health, and a great job, gone at the hands of government regulators. Learn about this and vote accordingly. This is Ross McLean for the McLean Chronicles. I'll see you next video.